Good morning. It's Friday the 17th and it is going to be day one of my deficit on Monday the 20th. So I'm going to spend some time today doing some planning because I want to get my food shopping delivered over the weekend. So I'm really hoping that maybe the kids will have a sleep somewhat at the same time. All right, so I'm sitting down. I have my book that I'm going to write everything in, but you can obviously use the notes app on your phone. I don't know, I go between two, but I am enjoying writing everything down lately. It's also so much better doing it this way because then you're likely spending less money and likely not going to the shops as much throughout the week. Sitting here sipping one of these, I feel like most people in the world are like obsessed with these at the minute. Peach mango. It's a no caffeine drink. It's so good. You can only get it from Coles though, which is so annoying. And I love the strawberry one. So I try to bulk buy when they're on sale because I don't really shop at Coles. Shop where you want to shop and do a method that works for you. That's just going to make your life easier when it comes to planning out your food for the week. You might go into the shops, you might get delivery, you might get a meal prep service delivered, like literally whatever. Personally, I like to do my Woolworths online delivery and it links with my like rewards and Qantas points and getting all my Qantas points because we're going to Fiji next year, which is also another reason like why I want to do this, now. So I'm in obviously a wedding next year and then also going to Fiji. I've got like 6 weddings coming up, etc. I think we're going to go in like June, July. It's also my 30th next year in June. I look and feel my best, and that comes from what we do with our nutrition. Not only is fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I feel like the best thing that you can do is plan when you're in a calorie deficit, because if you're winging it, chances are it's a lot harder to stick to a deficit. And if you're not really tracking your nutrition intake with a tool like MyFitnessPal, well then you might not have any idea like what's going in. Now, I'm not changing, like with my meal plan this week, I'm not changing a lot. Like I'm actually having meals that I ate last week as well. It's just the, I guess your portion sizes. So your overall food volume is what you should take into consideration. A lot of people just associate like fat loss and calorie deficits with using MyFitnessPal, doing food planning and meal prep, whereas we should really be wanting to look after ourselves and our nutrition like all year round. If you can like consistently put effort in with your nutrition, well, you're probably going to feel a little bit better. If you're eating completely different when you want to lose fat and then all of a sudden you've like reached your goal, you're kind of ready to maintain, and then all of a sudden you're not eating that way for like the rest of your life, then it's going to be very hard to maintain any results or progress that you make when you're in like a fat loss phase. So it doesn't have to be this massive overhaul to your diet unless your diet is incredibly poor. You don't have to restrict anything. Like I'll still get takeaway once a week. That's super important. Can have like fun, healthy meals. Doesn't have to be boring and bland. So my breakfast and my lunches are almost going to be the same, and then my dinners will be different, and then I'm going to have a curly whirly every night. Having bacon and egg muffin for brekkie. For my lunches, I think I'm going to rotate between like a Big Mac bowl and maybe the chicken fried rice, or I was also thinking, and I'll either do that this week or next week, but when I was pregnant was when the viral freaking hot honey bowl with the beef mince and the cottage cheese was going around, and then like the hot honey was like always out of stock at the shops. Obviously, that sounded so gross to me when I was pregnant, so I hadn't really tried it yet. I don't even know actually if you can eat cottage cheese when you're pregnant. For our dinners, steak, broccolini, mash. We're gonna do some homemade pizzas. I love using the high protein base from Woolworths. Actually has like such good fiber too. 14 grams, I believe. Oh my God, has my child climbed out of his bed? Well, I got one child crying and one child who's just climbed out of his bed. Kind of forgot what I was saying. I do homemade chicken burgers and some chicken schnitzel and veg. So I feel like that must have been like 6 dinners because once a week we will get takeaway. My youngest sister came over to curl my hair tonight because I have a hens tomorrow. Then my older sister got the memo that she was coming to do that, so then she wanted her hair curled, but then my older sister ended up cooking me dinner. So my younger sister's a hairdresser, my older sister works in hospitality, so a vibe. And then obviously she brought her kids, so then my kids mainly my toddler, was distracted from her kids. So basically, I just had the best afternoon. Decided to put my weekly plan up here, and then I'm just going to use this to like cross off every day. I did start doing the sticky notes thing, but it just was not sticking. I don't know why. And then I was even trying to sticky tape it to the thing and it still wasn't sticking. So I was like, you know what, I don't actually want to write out like 60 individual sticky notes. I just don't have the time for that. I thought I would talk about my calories and then my training approach. So I'll probably like put it on the screen a little bit as well, but really when it comes to tracking your calories and you have like a macro split, to kind of get that figure of calories that you're tracking, obviously you have to have a split between the three, like protein, fats and carbs. So I'm doing around 1800, but really all I'm focusing on is my calories and my protein intake and my fiber. So my carbs and my fats can be like pretty different day to day, but ultimately I want my calories to come first and then my protein and my fiber kind of like on par with each other. It's obviously harder to consume like higher figures of like protein and fiber and all of the things. So never beat yourself up if it's not like perfect, because some weeks fiber is going to be better than others, especially when you're kind of cycling through different meals and your meal planning. And when it comes to my training, I'm going to be hitting the gym 4 times a week and 2 upper, 2 lower. I also want to incorporate running. Again, now that I'm almost 3 months postpartum, it's a good time too, but I do have a women's physio appointment to check on my pelvic floor because I'm like 99.9% sure that I have like a prolapse, and I want to know the severity of it. And like, yeah, it doesn't cause me any grief when I'm training. It's always good to get assessed, get some exercises. So I kind of wanted to test the waters with a run before I go to her, so I can like report back to her about like how that went. So like both of my kids were like 4 kilos plus. So I kind of, especially having them so close together, I didn't really expect to get away like with that scot-free. The reason that I really wanted to share this as well is because you could be a personal trainer, you could work out and go for walks, you could eat really well in your pregnancies, but you cannot control what your body is going to do and like how much weight you're going to gain. Well, like you can control that obviously, like you can not add to that weight gain by just eating pure shit, but like your body's going to do what it's going to do. So there's no point in like fighting it. Like you can't control like how quickly weight comes off in a postpartum like phase. So I was 70 kilos when I felt pregnant the first time, and then it actually weirdly in both my pregnancies I gained 16 kilos in both of them, but when I felt pregnant the second time I started at 74. So I think, what is that, like 90 kilos? I don't think I ever seen 90 on the scales, but I think it was like 89, so like basically. And then obviously in the first couple of weeks, without you really doing anything, you do lose like a lot of fluid, your belly's going back down, all of like your organs are like going back into place. It's the uterine contractions when your uterus is like going back to where it should be is literally so painful. I reckon I got back down to 79. So like in a few weeks, maybe it would have been like 3 or 4 weeks. I can't really remember now when the first time that I stepped on the scales was, but when I did, it was 79. I noticed that it was sort of consistently at 79 for like a week and a bit. So I thought, cool, this is now where my body is at on its own. and it'll probably stay like this unless I was to do anything about it. So over the last couple of months, since I've been postpartum, I went back to exercise from like 3 weeks, I think, because I felt really fine. Like obviously super light and just walking. I did not have C-sections for either of like my pregnancies, my labors, sorry. So it felt fine to like do that. But I've just been focusing on eating like enough protein and focusing mainly on like 3 main meals, getting back into exercise. And on my own in this like 3-month period, I lost 2 kilos. I've been consistently in like the 77 bracket, very, very close to the 76. So it could almost be like maybe 2.5 kilos. But I was not super consistent with jumping on the scales, but I am going to be now going forward. So I'll probably put, I'll probably share that data as well throughout these videos just for accountability.